think of the children.
Think of the children. Won't somebody please think of the children?
Children, children are the future. Kids!
Hello everyone. Welcome to Think of the Children. Is this the future we promise for? My name is 𝐬𝐲𝐬𝐲. I'm a global market specialist who have been working in this area over a decade. Today, we are going to have a deep look into the world's upcoming, or rather, up-and-coming global power, namely China, which has ramifications for all citizens of the world. None of us should look away from. Do they really do so well with the economy? Or are they cooking certain parts of the success story? Since China's opening up to foreign investment and international trade and implementing free market reforms in 1979, China has been among the world's fastest growing economies, with real annual gross domestic product growth averaging 9.5% until 2017, a pace described by the World Bank as the fastest sustained expansion by a major economy in the history of humankind. Such growth has enabled China, on average, to double its GDP every 8 years and helped raise 800 million people out of poverty.
Once upon a time, several routes led from China through Central Asia to Europe. It was called Silk Road. A few years ago, China's president Xi Jinping proposed making new routes like the old routes, but even bigger.
The future's coming now. The bell and roll is out.
China has made innovation a top priority in its economic planning through a number of high-profile initiatives, such as Made in China in 2025, a plan announced in 2015 to upgrade and modernize China's manufacturing in 10 key sectors through extensive government assistance in order to make China a major global player in these sectors. China's efforts to expand its economic influence globally is a big concern for a lot of regional and global players, including China's Belt and Road Initiative, to finance and help build infrastructure projects in Asia, Africa, Europe, and elsewhere. Many analysts contend that China could use this project to boost its industries facing overcapacity, such as steel, gain new overseas markets, influence other countries to adopt China's economic model, and expand China's soft power towards many countries that will partake in this project. Hold on a second. Does this sound familiar to you? For me, gaining new overseas markets, influencing other countries to adopt Chinese economic model, and expanding China's soft power does sound like a bit another form of neocolonialism, don't you think?
Once you get over the initial shock of being in China, then everything changes.
We try to use the vocab that we just learned on the day, and a Chinese person understands what we're saying. It feels good.
I think the locals are pretty friendly.
Yeah, the other weekend we went to Beijing. It's been so good.
I'm very lucky to be here. I think it's the start of a relationship with China. I don't think you can properly understand the culture until you learn the language and speak to people and live here.
If you want some excitement in your life, then this is the best thing to do.
I hope to work here. This is a place thriving with technology businesses, huge numbers of people going into the technology industry.
There's too many opportunities here. If you are invested in yourself, I'm definitely going to consider something like this.
It's given me confidence and given me language skills. It's sort of proved that you can do anything.
improving lives, increasing connectivity across the world. That's the great promise offered by data-driven technology.
Stop killing our children! Stop killing our children!
But in China, it also promises greater state control and abuse of power.
Stop killing innocent people! Stop killing innocent people!
This episode of Black Mirror scared us all to death by taking social media too far.
I see there's one standby seat on another plane leaving tonight. That's reserved for members of our Prime Flight program. You gotta be a 4.2 or over to qualify.
Oh, I'm a 4.2.
People are scored out of 5 by everyone they interact with, and their public rating determines where they can live, who they can date, and how they travel. But this is just fantasy, right? Not in China. The government is building a social credit system to rate the trustworthiness of 1.4 billion people. There are plans to roll out the system by 2020, but it's already happening in Suzhou City. So, how does it work? Every citizen starts with 100 points linked to their ID card or social media. If you do something good, like volunteer at a charity, recycle trash, donate blood, or send positive energy messages on social media about the country, your score goes up. If you do something bad, like jaywalk, cancel a reservation, leave a dishonest review, or you are even friends with someone with a low rating on social media, your score drops.
From January, every citizen of England and Wales will have a new social credit score. Government and private companies may use your social credit score to make decisions about you. For example, your score could have